Let's have a look at what Donald Trump's had to say.
We will use every asset at our disposal to quell the violence and restore law and order right away. We're not going to wait 7 days and 8 days and wait for a governor that's never going to call and watch cities burn. And let me tell you, if we didn't do this, Los Angeles would burn. It would be burning to the ground right now, just like the houses burned to the ground just a few months ago.
Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there.
Yeah, so there's this bickering between the California governor and the president. And just to go to the way the Democrats, as they did during Black Lives Matter, the way they tend to authorise or encourage or certainly not admonish these riots, have a look at Nancy Pelosi, what she said overnight.
When there is a gathering, a large gathering of people, the anarchists see it as an opportunity and they move in. So always have to be careful whether you see a burned car, a broken window, or whatever it is. It may be the exuberance of the moment, but it may be the anarchist setting in.
The exuberance of the moment, Leisa. This is the point. Too many Democrats have made excuses for violent protesters.
And you're right, and Justin, you're wrong. When the Black Lives Matter protests were happening, and Chris is right to say, let's walk through this again, the Democrats were firmly behind that. The calls for defund the police, the Democrats
hang on, Leisa. He said riots. He said riots, not protests. He said riots, and the Democrats were stirring up the riots. That's what I took exception with. I didn't say they didn't back the protests. I said they didn't back the riots, or I questioned who was backing riots.
Check the vision, mate. Check the visions of Minneapolis, Los Angeles, New York City.
Pretty sure the images from Black Lives Matters look like riots.
Let's have a look at
Pretty sure those images from Black Lives Matters.
Yep, absolutely. There's so many people killed, so many properties burnt to the ground.
I didn't say they weren't. Oh, come on.
Yeah, and the Democrats
are constantly I didn't say
excuses.
They were riots.
Let's have a look then at what a Democrat congressman has said about this. John Fetterman has tweeted against his own party, effectively, saying, I unapologetically stand for free speech, peaceful demonstrations and immigration, but this is not that. This is anarchy and true chaos. My party loses the moral high ground when we refuse to condemn setting cars on fire, destroying buildings and assaulting law enforcement. Justin, they all need to stand up against this, don't they?
You've got to stand up against violence, absolutely, and you've got to stand up against riots. And I would never say that you wouldn't. Absolutely. But again, where does this come from? Where does this attitude come from? You know, it comes from the leaders down. You can't just go blaming every single person that picks up a brick and throws it. You've got to look at the other brick throwers as well, and a lot of them are leaders.
Let's go to Greta Thunberg, a little bit of a follow-up on her arriving home from Israel. I want to play first what the pilot said as the plane landed in Paris.
To thank our security forces and the IDF for protecting and defending our homeland, and we want to wish the swift return of all hostages.
How fantastic, Leisa, for the pilot to make sure that message was heard by Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell Greta Thunberg to go and look up what the word kidnap means. And if she'd watched some of that video, she may have understood exactly what it means to be kidnapped and worse. But you know what I find astounding, Chris? I was looking for whatever my sins were, I was looking at the Socialist Worker page today. And the headline there was, protests burst onto the streets of France.
You're a sad loss to the revolution.
Israel hijacks aid flotilla. So first of all, flotilla, it was one boat. And the extremists there, did you look at the pictures that were around today of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people out on the streets in France protesting to have this flotilla of people returned? So I just think the world's gone mad. The world has gone absolutely mad. The amount of aid that was on her ship, you couldn't run a good Mexican meal with the amount of rice.
It was not about aid at all. It was about publicity. Look, we're nearly out of time, and just to prove the world has gone mad, I've got a special little treat for Justin, because while we've been talking about the problems on the streets of LA, the President, Donald Trump, was actually at an army function celebrating a significant anniversary for the American Army, and have a look at how he spent some of his time. There you go, Justin. The troops seem to love him.
Never play that again. Never play that again, please. Or any. Actually, don't play any dance. I've warned you about playing dancing politicians before, haven't I? Please don't do it to me, mate. You know I love the show, but come on.
I'm a big fan of the Trump dance because it's about the only dance that we can all do. You know, it's a pretty easy move, that one. Thanks for joining us, Leisa and Justin. I appreciate it. Thanks for wrangling on with us on this Wednesday.